Marjé, what brings you to the Franchise for Humanity today?
Well, I was introduced to Mei Lin Feng by way of Dr. Neil Schulman, who is a wonderful humanitarian in Atlanta. He is the founder of the Global Health Summit in Atlanta. It started at Emory University about 3 years ago, and he has this dream of making it a franchise. And so as Mei Lin and I started talking, she said, it sounds like it's the Franchise for Humanity. It's something that we may be able to do at Stanford University in February. So that's kind of how it started.
So as one of the speakers at this conference, how do you conceive of the goals of this conference?
Well, I believe that it's an opportunity for us to not only talk about some of the problems that we're having in our world, but bringing solutions, innovative solutions, not just with people who are thinkers, but people who are actively involved with the general population.
What are some of the biggest problems that you're working on?
Well, Atlanta is one of the top cities in America for human sex trafficking. Children to the tune of about 7,200 a month are being sexually exploited, women also. And so I'm doing a major motion picture called Field of Hearts. And I got that name from Hartsfield because Hartsfield International is one of the reasons, because it's the busiest airport in the world, actually, and a lot of the children are being transported through that airport.
So are these children who are kidnapped, or they're runaways, like teenagers,
Most
minors?
of them are not runaways. Most of them are being kidnapped.
Okay, and then people are profiting off them?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you say that one of your main concerns is to put a dent in this trafficking.
That's right. And I believe media is a great way to not only shine light, but to educate and to also empower our audience to do something outside of just being sympathetic.
Well, what could an average person who's not involved in the issue do?
Well, I think once we shine light on the problem, and you know about it, because a lot of people are not aware of it. So once you become aware through the film, then we could also provide sustainable living solutions, whether it's employ the person or counsel the person or get more involved in your community to educate other youth and people about the problem and work on just ways that we could work together as a community to prevent it from happening.
Now, if a person is a victim of trafficking, and let's say you get them freed, maybe they don't have a home to go to, what happens to them? I mean, maybe they feel they're better off with this abusive person, which is at least maybe predictable, than just being on their own with nobody at all.
Right, and it's a good question. I think that what I'm trying to do with the film project is use 20% of the profits. The movie Taken made about $266 million. Imagine if 20% of that went towards organizations that are helping victims that have been rescued. Taking 20% of the profits, giving it to organizations to build more housing, provide more training and counseling, and to also help them not only discover their dreams, but to help them live those dreams out. So I think that the paradigm would be to invite other film producers to use proceeds, some of the profits, to give to some of these nonprofits.
Now, are you producing this film by yourself, or are you part of a group of people that's producing it?
I have a partner. I have partners.
And where is it in the production stage? Do you have any footage?
We just, it took about 2 years to get the script, so the script was just completed last month.
What can be done to keep young people from being brought into this, from being kidnapped in the first place? Are they kidnapped bodily, or does the person lure them in or seduce them in and then they can't get out?
Well, I believe that part of it has to do with what happens with the abductors and perpetrators. They use the dreams of a lot of these girls. Their dreams to become models, their dreams to become actresses, their dreams to become famous. So it's like, you're beautiful. You should be a model. We're going to pay you $20,000 a month. And so that's part of what we're doing is using the industries kind of, and part of also doing a documentary just that focused on how it's happening. as the industries.
So people have to be wise to that trick. They have to,
Absolutely.
when they hear that, they have to say, wait a minute, this guy is probably not legit.
Absolutely.
Do you think this issue of human trafficking is treated as a very serious problem, considering all the other problems we're dealing with in this country? I mean, how high has this risen up in the scale of problems we're concerned about?
It's a major problem. I mean, we have 75% of children in America that are in the foster care are trafficked. It's a big problem in the foster care. It's a problem. It's not just you think sometimes it's, you know, the runaways, as you mentioned, inner city, but a lot of the youth of influence, those that are part of a higher social economic status are also being lured. It's a big problem. It's a $13 billion industry because it's money, it's power, it's all of those.
And how do you hope that this conference will help push this issue forward?
I believe that the more people know, because honestly there is a disconnect that, oh, that's happening in America, can't be. So I think part of it is to talk about it, to let's have more dialogue, and let's find innovative ways to approach it.
Okay, very good. We're just about out of time. Do you have any last minute comments you'd like to make to our vast viewing audience?
Well, while I am dealing with sex trafficking, my dream is to use media to find ways to inspire people to get involved in some of these problems. But one of the main things that I'm doing is I'm working on a project with Dr. Neil Schulman. It's called The Corporate Kid, and I'm creating a marketing campaign called the BackSack. And BackSack is be a corporate kid, support a corporate kid. So we're taking 100 CEOs and 100 kids, putting them together and following them around for 1 year, starting in New York City.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.